So today let's talk about a condition called burning throat syndrome, or another name for that would be silent acid reflux, which is basically the same thing. That is a situation where you're having acid coming up through this valve, up into the esophagus from the stomach, creating a lot of irritation in the throat area, but not necessarily in the stomach area. So this acid is extremely acidic, between 1 and 3. That's like battery acid. Now in the stomach, you have this protecting liner, but in the esophagus, you don't. So there is some irritation up here. So you're going to get damage to the throat. That could lead to a sore throat. The vocal cords, it's going to affect your ability to speak. Then you have frequent throat clearings, coughing, pain in the sternum, which is that breastbone right through in here. So the medical name for this is laryngopharyngeal reflux. The larynx is like the voice box. Right above it, you have what's something called the pharynx, which is in the back part of the throat area, and it can affect both of those areas because acid is splashing up through here. There's a condition called GERD, which is involving this valve not closing. That can also create these symptoms. So here's the thing. This valve is controlled by 3 things, okay? Number 1, the pH of the stomach. So if this acid is not acid enough, it's relatively a little more alkaline than it should be, the valve won't close correctly, okay? So this is why I always recommend apple cider vinegar, betaine hydrochloride to help the situation. Number 2, it could be a problem with the autonomic nervous system because the nervous system controls this valve. So what happens when you're diabetic is you get problems with the vascular supply to the nervous system. So you have a problem with the nerves in your feet causing peripheral neuropathy. You have a problem with the nerve in your eye, the retina, okay, which you can go blind. You can also have a problem with the nerve in the ear, which can affect ringing the ears or even deafness. You can have a problem with any part of the nervous system, including the autonomic nervous system, and have a problem with this valve as well. But there's one more mechanism involved, and it's involving this hormone called gastrin. Gastrin is the hormone that makes gastric acid. And if you have enough, then you have enough acid. And just as a side note, gastric acid is not just hydrochloric acid. It also has sodium chloride and potassium chloride. So you actually need salt and potassium to make gastric acid. But there's one more thing. If you're vitamin D deficient, you could actually have a lowered amount of gastrin. Lower amounts of this hormone create lower amounts of this acid, and this is going to affect the valve. It's not going to close tightly, and the acid can go right through here. So what do you do about it? Well, one thing is you take betaine hydrochloride, apple cider vinegar. If that doesn't work, make sure you're consuming enough salt and potassium from your diet, but also take some vitamin D. You could be deficient, and that could be the reason why you have this acid that's coming up through here. All right, thanks for watching. Hey, if you're liking this content, please subscribe now, and I will actually keep you updated on future videos.